All right, I'm live, and Ben is going to tell me if the sound is working because I have issues with the sound. I think because the Wi-Fi is over there, and there's actually a basket of sandbags in front of the Wi-Fi, so it might block the signal. No, no. But I have issues sometimes with. No. You got your own stuff. You came prepared. All right, let's see. Yeah. Now, in a real class, if you actually had other people, you'd be coming in after it started. That wouldn't be cool. Yeah, yeah. We're taking it easy. We're doing it beach bum style. We're live. We're live. There could be people watching us besides Ben. um, yeah, I don't know how to prevent the crackle. My microphone crackles, and I think it's. Yeah, maybe. I'm going to move the sandbags. I don't know. I don't want Elizabeth to yell at me. Yeah. All right. Let's see if that does anything. I don't know. That's all I can. I know. All right. Right? Nice. He's a cute dog. All right. So I am going to have you start in child's pose, just to ground in. So just whatever child's pose you like. So you can have your knees together, and that brings your stretch a little bit more into your lower back because you're rounding over your legs. Or if you take your knees apart, big toes touching, you can kind of slide your heart down toward the earth. So whatever feels the best in your body in this moment, and just take whatever child's pose feels good. So take this opportunity to just ground in. Feel your contact to the earth. Feel your breath in your lungs. Let there be full surrender. And just allow whatever bubbles to the surface to be seen. And let everything soften. So there's no tension, there's no clenching, holding. No effort. And feel your breath into your back ribs. So especially if you're feeling a little compression in your belly, take the breath into your back. Take another big breath in. And then let it out, open mouth sigh. And just arrive. Be in this moment, nothing else outside of the borders of your mat exist. And then when you're ready, lift your head, look forward between your hands. Walk your hands over to the right. Take your left hand and interlace onto your right hand. Sink your left hip in the opposite direction. So feel that pull all the way down the side waist. So you might feel this from your left pinky all the way down into your hip. I get this one a lot in my armpit, like the back of my arm, into the side ribs, lateralis. One more breath. Using breath to release tension, and then walk your hands all the way back through center and all the way to the other side. So same thing, right hand interlaces to the left, sink that right hip down. Feel the opening in your ribs. Yeah, like a big yawn for your side body. And just notice if there's any difference between left and right. Notice without judgment. Notice just to notice. One more breath. And walk back through center. And then slowly, like a wave, roll through your spine. Come all the way up. Bring your knees underneath your hips. Set your hands underneath your shoulders. Find your table pose. Fingertips press into the earth. Press across your knuckles and then roll your elbows under. Yeah, and you want your whole palm down on the ground, but you're bringing a little bit more pressure into the pads of the knuckles and into the fingertips. And then you're pressing in on the index finger and the thumb just a little bit more. And then you roll your elbows under, tuck them to open the chest, and then bring your belly button toward your spine. So you're send your heart forward, and then let your tailbone lift. And imagine that your heels of your hands are dragging back toward your knees. Feel that heart opening. And then exhale, round. Press the floor away really actively. And then flow with your breath. Maybe close your eyes so you feel into that space. Use your own breath. And bringing breath into any kinks, stiffness. Let your breath guide your movements. Breath comes first. And you can stay in this linear movement, or you can take it off center and kind of just let it flow in any direction. Whatever you need. Make it big, make it little. Maybe let your spine slither or spiral. Just letting your body tell you what you need in this moment. Take another couple rounds of breath to just explore. And then when you feel ready, sink your hips to your heels, find child's pose again. Forehead anchors into the earth. Roll your elbows under as you stretch your fingertips forward. So rolling your elbows under, you're opening your upper back, kind of sliding your shoulder blades away from each other. So feel that nice space in your upper back. Big breath in, and then let it all out. One more just like that. On your next inhale, roll like a wave back into your table. Set your hands underneath your shoulders, knees under hips. So your belly button draws into your spine, supporting your mid-body. Send the elbows back toward your knees. And then your right arm reaches out to the side. And if it feels okay, you can lift as high as that feels comfortable. So spreading your wing. And then as you exhale, you're threading your needle. Your hand dives between your left arm and your left knee, and you're just pressing toward that left side wall. Keeping the hand kind of hovering. Next inhale, you're opening like a wing. So you're just priming the twist. So you're coming back into that open expression. And then exhale. Squeeze the breath out, thread your needle, press the hand, just let it hover. Next, inhale, rise. Open wide. Exhale. Press the hand. Press, press, press. And then this time, you can land head and shoulder, come into that twist. Your left hand can come in front of your right wrist, and then you can press into the floor, but shift the hips a little bit toward the left as you open up. So the twist is just from the waist up. The hips stay square. Yeah, awesome. And then that depth comes from your breath. So as you inhale, feel that length from the crown of your head all the way to your tailbone, and then as you exhale, press actively into the floor with that left hand. Just creating space. One more round of breath. And then press into that left hand all the way back up. Open, right arm out like a wing. And then reset. Hands underneath shoulders, knees under hips. Flow through that cat and cow movement just to reset your spine. And any other movements that you need just to kind of come back into that neutral. I'm checking on the sound again. All right. So table pose, stillness, anchor through your mid-body. Then let that left arm reach out to the side. If you have space, you can open a little bit more. Exhale. Squeeze the breath out. Let that arm come through and just press. So same thing on the other side. Inhale, open. Big expansion. And then exhale, contraction. Just let the hand hover. Inhale, open wide. And then exhale, press. Press, press, press. Find that length and then lower head and shoulder. You can bring your right hand in front of your left wrist. Shift into that right hip. Press the right hip back as you twist. How's that feel? Use the breath to get the depth So you're not going into the fullest expression of that twist right away. You're using the breath to build into itself. Every inhale, feel that length. Every exhale, feel the twist deepen. One more round of breath. And then slowly press into that right hand. Left arm opens like a wing. Touch down. Table pose, flow through cat and cow. From stillness, from here, from your table pose, belly button draws in, support your mid body. This time right leg reaches back. Level your hip. If you feel like that right hip is opening out to the side, lower it down. And your foot can be in any orientation. If it feels good to press through the heel or the ball of the foot or the toe, you can do whatever feels best. Equal weight in both hands. And then roll the elbows under. So the elbows don't press out to the sides, they press back toward your knees as you open your heart forward. As you exhale, bring your knee to your nose and round your spine. Squeeze the breath out, and then inhale, let it flow open, leg reaches back. Exhale as you squeeze the breath out, knee to nose, round your spine, press the floor away with your hands. Inhale, open wide, extend the leg back. One more just like that. Exhale, squeeze breath out. And then inhale, extend long. Inhale to lengthen here. And then as you exhale, come forward, bend your elbows. So you're hugging your elbows into your ribs and lowering your chest and your chin. Inhale to press, come back into that three-legged table, exhale, round your spine. Squeeze your knee to your nose. So here's your flow. Inhale, lengthen, leg reaches back, exhale, press, come forward. Inhale to rise, exhale, knee to nose. Once more, same exact thing. Inhale, open. Exhale, press. Inhale, rise. Exhale, squeeze the breath out. Extend the leg back. Flex your foot. Touch down. Just take a peek at your toes. Make sure your toes are lined up with your hip. And then press forward and back. Squeeze like you could tear your mat in half. And you've got a really stretchy mat, so you might actually stretch your mat. If you feel like you have the strength, pick up that left leg, bring your knee to your nose, shin parallel to the floor. Round your spine, so you're pressing into the heel and pressing the hands forward, opposite direction. Then lower everything down. Bring your knees together, sink your hips to your heels. Fingertips reach forward, child's pose. Big rest. Big breath in. Let it all out. One more breath. On your next inhale, come all the way back. Table. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Elbows roll under. Stabilize your mid-body, belly button to spine. Left leg reaches back. Level the hips. Equal weight through both hands. Elbows draw under. And your eye gaze is kind of maybe 6 or 8 inches in front of your fingertips toward the center. Exhale, knee to nose, round your spine. Inhale to open wide. Exhale, draw it in. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, contract. Inhale, lengthen. So here's the change. As you exhale, bend your elbows, come forward, chest and chin, like a little tricep push up. Press, and then draw the knee into your nose. So here we flow with breath. Inhale, leg extends. Exhale, come forward. Inhale to rise. Exhale, squeeze knee to nose. One more, just like that. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Leg extends long. Elbows draw under. Flex your foot. Touch the toes down. Take a peek at your toes. Line up the toes with the hip. Press forward and back. So here's where you can really see why you want the elbows rolling under. If you're pressing forward, you're almost coming into a push-up, but the elbows rolling back, you're stable, nice and stable. And then if you feel like you have space, pick up that right knee, round your spine. Keep squeezing into that back heel, get that nice stretch in the calf muscle. Back of the leg. Create space. And then lower the knees down. Sink hips to heels. Let your arms and your wrists rest. Forehead touches down. If you have challenging wrists, you can come up, give them a little shake, give them a little stretch. Yeah. Yep. You're just increasing your load. So the more you do poses with the hands in this position, whether it's table or downward facing dog, it'll get used to it. You'll build the muscle. But you always want to counter pose. It's always a good idea. Yep. So when you're ready, come back into your table. This time you can set your hands a little bit forward of your shoulders. Tuck your toes. You're coming up. So let your knees bend a lot. Your hips lift to the sky. And you're rolling your elbows under. So just play with that a little bit. Open the elbows wide toward the outside of your mat. And then open or close the elbows in. And just feel that stretch in your upper back. So you're squeezing the elbows in toward each other. And then you're pressing your chest toward your thighs. And then you're straightening the legs, keeping the hips high. So you're finding your downward facing dog. And your heels might not reach the floor, and you can resist the urge to walk the toes forward to get the heels down, because that brings a lot of rounding into your upper back. So keep it wide, and a good test is to come forward into a plank. Yeah, and if you have to move the distance between your hands and your feet, that's a really good distance for your downward facing dog. It's gonna feel weird if you're used to walking the toes forward. Yeah, how's that feel? And then you can pedal your heels, sway your hips. Let your body tell you what movements you need in this. And maybe it's child's pose. Maybe you just need to touch the knees back down to your mat and rest your arms. But we won't be here for very long. Just warming up the backs of the legs and the arms, the shoulders. Look forward between your hands. Walk your feet to the top of your mat. Keep your knees bent a lot. And then you're clasping your arms, ragdolling. Your chest makes contact to your thighs, and your legs are taking the full weight of your upper body. Everything from your lower back to the top of your head is loose and limber, just releasing out. You can shake your head, yes, no, I don't know. You can sway from side to side. You can bounce if you want. Then coming back into stillness, your feet are hip-width distance. Bringing your hands to your shins, roll your shoulders back to open your heart. Belly button draws in. You're soft in your knees, hips are sending back, so you're really lengthened through your spine. And then open the arms out like wings. Press into the feet to come all the way up to standing. Urdhva Hastasana, palms reaching toward the ceiling. And then exhale, hands to heart, and open to Tadasana. So we'll flow through a few sun salutations. They're going to be a different variation, sun salutations with a little twist. I was doing this in my living room the other day, and it felt really good. So as you inhale, come all the way up. Urdhva Hastasana, palms press. Exhale, swan dive forward, hinge. So we'll do the first one really slow. Forward fold, knees bent as much as you need. Inhale, lengthen halfway, hands to shins. Press the heart forward. And then exhale, plant your hands. Your right foot steps back. Lower that back knee down, uncurl your toes. Walk your hands all the way up. You're coming into a low lunge, Anjaneyasana. And just make sure that knee isn't coming forward of the ankle. Yeah, awesome. Press into the foot a lot. So instead of just collapsing into that hip flexor, use that left foot into the floor and then pull the left hip back so the hips are square forward. Inhale, open. You can stay here, or if you have space, lift the arms. And then you're coming into a gentle twist, or a gentle lateral bend. Your left hand comes to your waist, your right fingertips lift up and over. And just opening through the ribs. So good. And then to the other side. So your right hand to your waist, left fingertips to the sky, roll your shoulder back, lift up out of your waist, just lateral bend. Keep pressing into that left foot. Exhale, come all the way back down. Hands frame that front foot. Tuck your back toes under. Lift the knee. You're coming into a runner's lunge. Right hand stays down, anchored underneath your shoulder. You can use a block here if you need it. And then you're opening that left arm all the way up to the sky. If that's too much, you can drop that back knee down. But if you can, stay lifted and then hug that front knee into your chest and squeeze your heel away from the crown of your head. So feel that length all the way down your back body. As you exhale, let your hands frame that front foot. Touching down, you can move your block. Left foot steps back, downward facing dog. As you inhale, roll forward into a plank, and then you're lowering your knees, your chest, and your chin down to the earth. Little modified chaturanga, and then all the way down to your belly, opening your heart, baby cobra. Exhale, press back, tuck toes, lift hips. Press back into downward facing dog. Take 3 deep breaths here. Big breath out. Look forward between your hands. Soften your knees. Walk or step to the top of your mat, lengthen halfway. Knees bent as much as you need. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to rise, press into the floor with your feet. Palms reach overhead, hands to heart, and then open Tadasana. Set the feet. So round 2, second side. Inhale, big sweep up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hinge, forward fold, swan dive. Knees bent as much as you need. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, plant hands. This time, left foot steps back. Lower that back knee down. Walk the toes forward if you know that you need space so that the knee doesn't come forward of that ankle. Walk your hands all the way up to that top leg. Press into the right foot. Square the hips. You are pulling your right hip back and pressing that left hip forward. So if you have tighter hips, you're going to let that right hip come forward, and you're going to be kind of angled to the side. So squaring the hips just means the 2 hip points come in line with the top of your mat. And then, awesome. And then you press into that front foot. Sometimes body part. I always imagine like a big truck steering wheel, and you're turning the hips to square the hips. If you imagine that, is that a good analogy? Okay. Press into that front foot. So you're really strong into the front foot. Your quad, your right quad should be burning with that effort. And then lift the arms. Bring your right hand to your hip. Lift up out of your waist. Exhale, come into that lateral bend. Inhale back through center and just switch sides. Stay active in that front leg. Right arm reaches, left hand at hip. Send the fingertips high and the shoulder rolls back. Lift up out of your waist, lateral bend to the other side. Come back through center. Hands touch down. Shift the hips back. Tuck the back toes under. Straighten that back leg. Feet are hip width distance. Left hand underneath your shoulder at the floor or a block. And then you can hug your right knee into your chest. Come into a twist. Yeah, so good. Option if you need to drop that back leg. Open wide, fingertips to the sky, and then exhale, touch down. Step that right foot back. Find downward facing dog. And then on your inhale, roll forward into a plank. Knees or toes, so you have the option now, lower, slow, chaturanga, and then inhale to rise. Upward facing dog or baby cobra. Press back, downward facing dog. 3 deep breaths. One more. Let it all out. Look forward between your hands, soften your knees, step, walk, or float to the top of your mat. Lengthen halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, press into the floor. Sweep all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. And open Tadasana. So we'll run through that once more, each side, with a little more coordination with breath. So as you sweep up, big breath in, exhale, hinge. So now you know what to expect, right? Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, hands touch down, right foot steps back. Lower the back knee down, uncurl the toes, sweep right up into that low lunge, Anjaneyasana. Take your left hand to your hip, fingertips reach to the sky, find that lateral bend. If you have space, maybe your left fingertips reach for the floor. And if not, that's okay. Come all the way back up. Right hand to hip. That's what blocks are for. You just lift the floor. Find that lateral bend to the right. Maybe you have space. Fingertips touch down. Come all the way back up. Hands touch down. Tuck the back toes under. Find that twist. So right hand down, left arm reaches to the sky. Squeeze in all directions. Heel presses back. Crown of the head reaches forward. Chest opens toward that left side. And arms extend away from each other. Big breath in. Exhale, spin all the way down. Step that left foot back. Downward facing dog. Inhale, roll forward. Exhale, lower your way. Inhale, rise. Open heart. Exhale, press back. Downward facing dog. 3 deep breaths. Full deep exhale. Look between your hands, bend your knees, step or walk forward, lengthen halfway, exhale, fold. Big inhale, sweep up, rise, palms press, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands to heart, open Tadasana. One more round. Sweep up. Exhale, hinge. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, plant hands, left foot steps, lower back knee down. Find your low lunge. Come all the way up. Arms reach. Fingertips to the sky. Right hand to hip. Left fingertips open. Find that lateral bend. If you have space, that floor feels so far away, doesn't it? See if you can roll your heart open to the ceiling. Come back through center. Both arms reach. Left hand to hip. Right fingertips to the sky, and then open out. If you have space, left fingers touch down. Come back through center. Hands touch down. Tuck the back toes under. Left hand underneath your shoulder. Squeeze that left heel away from the crown of your head. Right fingertips to the sky. Yeah, so good. So imagine all the points extending in opposite direction. Imagine your belly button as that center point, and then everything just explodes away from it. Touchdown. Right foot steps back. Downward facing dog, roll forward, flow through your vinyasa. Starting to build a little heat, a little muscle memory, strength. 3 deep breaths in your downward facing dog, your resting pose. We haven't even gotten into the meat of the class yet. Look forward between your hands, soften your knees, step or float forward. Lengthen halfway, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep up. Palms press, and then exhale, hands to heart. Open Tadasana. I don't even know how long we've been going. I'm gonna check. I don't know when we started. You got it. It doesn't even say on my thing. That's funny. All right. Set your feet about hip width distance. You're bending your knees. You're sinking down into chair pose. Arms reach overhead. So here's your first flow, your first krama. Well, second krama, really, because our warm-up, our pratapana was kind of extended. Bring all of your weight into your right foot. And then you're coming up to stand and taking that left leg with you. Bring your hands to your heart. Your knee is in line with your hip, your ankle in line with your knee. Active through that left heel, you're pressing back. Coming into warrior 3. That right leg is soft bend, and you square the hips. Open the arms wide if that feels good. And then flex that foot really strong, the left foot, and then you're touching down. Feet about hip width distance, you're coming into a lunge, so you're bending both knees. That left knee kind of hovers off the ground. Yeah, so active press into that left ball mound of your foot. And then the arms reach up. So like you're casting a spell. You're pressing your hip flexors forward. And then as your elbows open wide, open your heart. And just flow with that a few times. So you're reaching the arms forward, drawing your belly button in, and then open your heart. So with breath, inhale, come all the way up, and then exhale. How about one more, just like that? Inhale. Exhale. Yeah, so good. How are your legs? Inhale, sweep up, and then exhale. Touch the heel down, open wide, warrior 2 pose. So your warrior 2, back nice and long, heels are about in one line. Toe. Big toe from the inside of that front knee, nudge it out. So the knee nudges out to the side, and then that right hip pulls back. Imagine that big truck wheel. Press actively into that back leg. Arms reach. Fingertips extend. So we're moving. That front leg straightens, and the arms go to the ceiling. It's yoga studio. Exhale. No mirrors in a yoga studio. Inhale, press actively. And then exhale, sink deep. Inhale. And exhale. One more just like that. Inhale. Exhale. And then windmill the arms. Find your plank. You can come right in dog or flow through a vinyasa. You have energy. You have the space. You find your way into facing dog. And then that left heel into the earth. Right leg reaches back. 3-legged dog. Pressing actively into the back of that right leg. Yeah, so good. And then roll that right hip down. Yeah, so flex your foot. The toes point toward the floor and the heel points to the ceiling. It's a little more challenging with square hips. And then knee to nose, round your spine. Step between your hands, lower that back heel down again. Open the arms wide like wings and lift your chest off that front thigh. Again, square the hips. So for warrior 1, if you need more space for that back knee, toe heel that front foot out, and then you can get that full rotation. So your hip points are square to the front. Arms reach back. Back leg presses. So you're pressing into the outer edge of the back foot and lifting the rest of the kneecap up toward your hip. And then send the arms forward. Lift all the way up. Warrior 1. Let the fingertips reach the sky. Send the shoulders back away from your ears and go deep. And if you want a little shoulder stretch, take the arms behind you, clasp the hands, roll the shoulders open to open the heart, sink deep into the legs and send the knuckles down the back of the leg. And then arms reach back. Exhale, find your warrior two again. And then right away, flip that front palm, reach back, find your reverse warrior. Open the heart to the ceiling. And fingertips reach away from that front leg. Sink deep. Come forward, warrior two. Set the elbow down, right elbow to the top of the right thigh. Left arm sweeps overhead. Extended side angle, Parsva Konasana. So you're spinning your heart toward the ceiling, and then see if you can rotate your pinky down toward the ground, the other way. Yes. So that helps connect your shoulder back in. So feel that sort of double helix going on. And then sweep up. Warrior two, just for a breath. Bring your hands to your hips, straighten your front leg, turn the feet parallel. So toes turn toward the side of the mat. You don't have to move your whole mat. All right, heels go in, toes go out. Bend your knees. Nudge the knees out to the side toward your pinky toe and lift through the chest. Hands to heart. Just goddess pose. Big breath in. Big breath out. Can you go deeper? Just find that point where you can hold. The muscle activation here, so then out toward the pinky toes, and then the tops of your legs, your glutes, are pulling in toward the center line. So imagine the back of the legs pulling in toward itself, and then your chest goes high. Sink a little bit deeper. I know you got it. And then open the arms wide, straighten the legs. Oh, yeah. Turn the front toes. Bring your hands back to your hips. Step that back foot to the top of your mat. Now you got all turned around. All right, so feet to just about the outer borders of the top of your mat, and your heels kind of angle in. Bring your hands to your heart, and same deal, your knees are opening out toward the pinky toes, and your spine stays long, and just like an elevator, push the button, and you're going all the way down to the first floor. So you're coming into a Malasana squat. Yeah. How's that feel on your ankles? Good? Good deal. And then press your elbows into the knees and lift the chest high. So you're squeezing your shoulder blades. It's a good one. And then touch your hands down. Straighten the legs. Toe heel the feet. Soften the knees. Lift halfway up. And then exhale, forward fold. Inhale to rise. So you have an option here. If you want to reset, you can flow through a vinyasa. Or you can just stay in whatever shape feels best for you. And then when you're ready, yeah, shake it out. So good. I love that. It's very shamanic to shake. It's very shamanic. It's a shamanic practice to just shake your body. Yeah, that too. Yeah. But it kind of helps to dispel the energy. So you're basically like, your body is like a carton of orange juice with lots of pulp, and all that pulp was settled down to the bottom. Just like, yeah, and let it kind of redisperse itself. Yeah. So yoga is the emulsifier of your practice, of your body, right? Lets everything blend. All right, when you're ready, round 2, second side. Bend your knees. Find that chair pose again. Right away, hands to heart. Bring all of your weight into that left foot. Sink deep. And then when you come to stand, when you straighten that leg, the right leg is coming with you. Right leg lifts. Hip and knee in line. And then actively press. So you're just hinging from the hip. Left knee is soft, so you can find your balance. So if the knee is locked, then you're kind of like just teetering. But if you keep that softness, then you can find your balance. Square the hips. Open the arms wide if that feels okay. And then touch the toes down. Let that right knee hover. And just make sure when you touch down, your feet are about hip width distance. You're not on a tightrope trying to balance. Bring that knee really deep. Find your classic lunge. Belly button in. Press the hip forward. So that right hip, it's just a little pelvic tilt. So when you get it, you feel that nice stretch all the way down the hip. So then you add the arms. Inhale, and then exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Send all the way up. Open wide. Set your feet. Warrior 2. Find that pose again. Outer edge of the foot anchors. Kneecap lifts. Front knee nudges toward the outside of the mat. Lift up through the chest. Open the arms. Sink deep. How low can you go? And then you're coming all the way up to stand. Arms press. Exhale. Find that warrior 2. So the front toes still point forward. Yeah. It's almost like you're coming into a triangle, but you're not tipping. Not yet. Exhale. So the only thing that's moving is that front knee and the arms. Not the back leg. The feet stay grounded, glued to the floor. Warrior 2. Wiggle the arms, touch down. Step back. Your choice. If you choose, you can flow. Keep everything moving, or you can hold in downward facing dog or child's pose. Right heel anchors into the earth. Left leg reaches back. 3-legged dog. Whenever you get there. Square the hips. Left leg back. Right heel squeezes in, left leg reaches back. Yeah. And then knee to nose. Step forward. Back heel touches down. Setting up your warrior 1. So if you need more space for that back knee to rotate, open the front foot out just a little bit wider. Arms reach back, lift the chest, squeeze your shoulder blades, and then pull, truck wheel. Hips are square. Feel that back leg really glued into the earth and your heart reaching away from it. Reach the arms forward. Go deep into the legs. I'm sweating. Are you sweating? I know I'm making you work. Inhale. Exhale. Warrior one. If you want that shoulder stretch, well, just reset the hips first. Use your big truck wheel. Yeah. And then you can take the arms back behind you. Find the clasp, the one that feels weird, the one that you don't usually do. Yeah, send the knuckles down, open the heart. Go deep into the legs. I have sweat that's nearly in my eye. I need to wear a headband like you do. And then sweep up. Open wide, warrior two. Find that pose again. Just for a breath, and then flip the palm, reach back. Reverse warrior. Feel that stretch all the way down. Left ribs open. Eye gaze to the ceiling. Heart opens to the ceiling. Exhale, come forward. Touch down, elbow to thigh. Right arm reaches overhead. Open the heart. So you're spinning your heart to the ceiling. Yeah, and then roll your pinky down. Oh, feel what happens to your shoulder? Yeah, so good, right? And then can you find that rotation even more? Double helix. Sweep all the way back. Warrior two. Bring your hands to your hips. Straighten that front leg. Turn the feet parallel. You don't have to move your mat. Just coming back into that goddess pose. Heels turn in, toes turn out to the corners of your mat. Sink your knees deep. Bring your hands to your heart. Find that spot that you can just hold. Isometrics only. Knees press out. Your hips and your glutes pull in. Your spine lengthens right through the center. That mat might be a little thick for those balance postures. All right, and then open wide. It is good on the knees. I have an extra knee pad. Bring your hands to your hips. Turn to I turned 40 this year. I'm feeling it. 40. Come all the way back. Step that back foot in. Coming back into that squat. So feet are wider than your hips. Heels turn in, toes turn out. And then you're coming back. Hands to heart. Nudge the knees out. So you're really just tracking the middle of your knee toward the middle toes. Just like an elevator. Slow and controlled. If you have a tendency to collapse into the joint, bring a little muscle into it. Lift up through the chest. What? Yeah, just about. Take the hands all the way down. Straighten the legs, toe heel in. How long have we been going?
I'm ready for one of these.
Oh yeah, I was going to do that second round, but you're good for it now? All right. Crow pose, yeah. So I like to do it It's definitely like a good progression from Malasana. That's usually how I do it. I was going to do it next round, but we can do it right now. No, we can totally do it. So you plant your hands shoulder width distance, and I like to bring my knees right into my armpits, and then you shift your weight forward, and you hug your heels into your butt and press the floor away. You're pressing a lot into the fingertips. And you keep your eye gaze forward. Yeah. And there's a lot of core that's going on. So good. Hug your elbows in toward each other, almost like you're doing a chaturanga. And I love that guys have such a strong core just naturally, like core and shoulders, that like it's almost effortless for guys to just like press up into a handstand from that. But yeah, but you looked like you were ready. All right. That's definitely, yeah. So in a traditional class, you'd actually jump back, and I don't trust myself to do that, so I just step back and then flow. You want to do it one more? Or do you want to wait for the second round? Okay. So find your way back into your downward facing dog. And then when you're ready, soften your knees, step or float forward, lengthen and fold. Inhale, sweep up. Hands to heart. So second round goes a little bit quicker, so you know where we're going, and this time you're syncing it a little bit more with breath. Feet hip width distance. You're coming back into that chair pose. Sink deep. And then as you come to stand, your left leg lifts. Hands to heart, press back. Find that warrior three. This time, come back forward, and then you're crossing left knee over right. Finding eagle legs, and then if you want eagle arms, left arm goes under, right arm goes over. You can just tap your shoulders or just bring your forearms together. You can even touch the toes down. Hips stay square. And then you're unwinding. Press back into that warrior three right away, touch down. 3 breaths. You know where we've been. You know where we're going. So that lunge, flow with the arms, flow with the heart. Bonus little stretch for the hip flexor. Sweep up, and then open, warrior two. Right away, inhale, straighten that front leg. Exhale, sink deep. Inhale, just 3 times. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. This time, lift all the way up. Engage the legs. Press the feet into the floor. You're coming forward into a triangle pose. Shin, ankle, block, big toe, whatever you've got. Heart rotates to the ceiling. Stack your shoulders. Take your eye gaze to that left hand. Lift the kneecaps all the way up toward your hips. How you doing? Let that top hand pull you all the way back up. Sink deep, warrior two, and then windmill the arms. Step back, downward facing dog, or flow. Right away, right leg reaches back, 3-legged dog. Bend your knee, open your hip. Keep the shoulders square. So as you open the hip, there's a tendency to let that right shoulder open. Resist that and roll it back down. And then knee to nose, step forward. Lower that back heel down, sweep up, warrior one right away. Sink deep. palms press, open heart. Let that leg bend, rotate through the hips. Open warrior two. Fingertips reach. Reverse your warrior. Exhale, touchdown. Right elbow to thigh. Extended side angle. So if you have a half bind, you can take that. You can take the top arm, bring it to the crease of your hip, roll the shoulder open. This is a little bit harder when you've got on your waistband, but we'll try it. If you have space for the full bind, that right arm goes underneath and you connect into that bind, roll the heart open. And if that's too much, you can just come back into that first variation. One more breath. Come all the way back up. Warrior two, straighten that front leg. Bring your hands to your hips. Turn the feet parallel. I'm going to turn this way and totally confuse myself. So this time, toes turn in, almost like little pigeon toes. I don't know why they're called pigeon toes. Do they look like that? Open the heart, open the throat, squeeze the shoulders, and then exhale, come forward. Pause halfway, so your spine is parallel to the floor. Lift the kneecaps up toward your hips. Fancy way of saying engage the quads. And then hands touch down. If the floor is too far away, you can take blocks underneath your hands. Roll the elbows under, let the heart open. And then as you bend your elbows point toward that back wall. Crown of the head toward the earth. Yeah, how's that feel? Bring a little bit more weight into your toes. The whole foot stays on the earth, but you're just sending the weight forward a little bit more, kind of testing your balance. So if you're daring and you want, here's where a headstand could come into the equation. You touch the elbows down or you come into a tripod if you have that in your practice. If not, just stay in your wide leg forward fold. And then when you're ready, come all the way back down. Lengthen halfway. So the arms straighten, legs engaged, hands to hips. Come all the way back up. Turn the front. Find your warrior two again. Big breath in, windmill the arms. And then bend that left knee, step forward. You're coming back into that Malasana squat to start. Sink the hips down. Find your squat. And then you can take it into a little twist. Right hand touches down, left arm reaches to the sky. If you find that that left knee collapses in, just keep it pressing out. And then switch. Hands to heart, reset the spine. Left fingertips touch down, right arm to the heart, and open into a gentle twist. You ready for your balance? Okay. So there are a couple different versions. So you're probably used to, I call it the cheater version, where you're actually just stacking the bones, where you're bringing your shins to the backs of your arms and the elbows are open wide. And you're like literally just finding the fulcrum where you're stacking, which if you're just going for, I just want to balance on my arms, that's an awesome place to be. Because then you get that sort of courage to keep trying it. You may even want to do it with your hands not on your mat, because your mat's really squishy, and that might affect your balance a lot. So, yeah. And then, because your fingers become your toes when you're doing any sort of arm balance, so you're constantly sort of gripping the floor and adjusting. So you've got your cheater version with the arms open, and you're stacking your shins, and you're just kind of finding the fulcrum, that balance point. Or if you want to do it proper, like, your elbows are bending toward your knees, and you're bringing your knees as close to your armpits as humanly possible. And then you're shifting your weight forward, and then you're lifting your shins. You see how much more compact it is? And your heels go to your butt, and you press the floor away, and you round through your back. Yeah, exactly. So you just get... I just call it that because it's like the easy version. Bring your eye gaze forward. Yeah. You look really stable. Like you could hold that all day. Yeah. Yeah. I know. I used to teach at the Y. All right, last round. Ready for it? If you want, you can take a vinyasa, reset the spine. Make it as big or as little as you want. And then find your way back into standing. Final round. I don't even know how long this class has been. We'll just make it extended version. No, there isn't. It is an illusion. We've surpassed fourth density, gone into the fifth, right? Bend your knees. Sink the hips low. Sink down. Hands to heart. Lift through the chest. As you come to stand, pick that right leg up. Send it back. Warrior 3. You know where we're going, right? Open the arms, squeeze the shoulder blades. Right away, come all the way back in. This is just testing your balance. If you want to practice balance, move in all directions on that standing leg. Right leg crosses over left. Sink through the hips, lift through the chest. Stay here, or eagle arms. Right arm goes under, left elbow connects to the top, and you press your palms. Shoulders reach away from your ears, and you press the hands away. You should feel a nice stretch in the shoulder blades. And then unwind, lifting back up. Find that warrior 3 again. Touch down right away. Find that lunge. Press the hip out. Ready to roll. Sweep up. Open wide. Just 3 times. Exhale. Straighten that back leg. Open warrior 2. And then straighten that front leg. Lift the arms. Just 3 times. Flow with it. Exhale, sink deep. Inhale, rise. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Come all the way up. Lift kneecaps up toward the hip as you anchor into the feet. Find your triangle. Trikonasana. Utthita Trikonasana. Spin the heart to the ceiling. Take your eye gaze to the top hand if your neck feels safe. Legs, stabilize the posture. Let that top arm pull you all the way back up. Bend your knee. Windmill all the way down. Downward facing dog or flow. Left leg reaches back. Shoulders stay square. Bend your left knee, open your hip. Knee to nose, step forward. Right away, warrior one, sweep up. Take it into a heart opener. So first, square your hips. Toe heel that front foot out if you need. Bring the blade edges of your hands together and send your heart to open. Open wide, warrior two. Flip front palm, reach back, reverse warrior. So at this stage, it's almost like a dance. Feeling graceful. Come forward. Elbow to thigh. First variation, Parsva Konasana, side angle. If you want that bind, half bind. Top arm reaches behind you. Find the crease of your hip. Open the shoulder. Stay here for just a breath before you move on. Can you roll the heart open even more? Sink a little bit deeper into the legs. If you have that full bind, left arm comes underneath the front knee, and you connect. If you've connected and your chest, your heart is aiming toward the floor, see if you can roll it open. Yeah. Go a little bit deeper into the legs. And then wherever you are, unwind. Come back into warrior two. Bring your hands to your hips. Turn the feet parallel. Toes go in, heels turn out. Arms reach back behind you. Option for a shoulder stretch. Connect your heels of your hands. One big fist reaches down toward the earth. Open your heart and your throat. And then exhale, hinge, forward fold. Pause halfway, legs engaged. So make sure the legs aren't like wet noodles. Let them be tree trunks. And then come all the way down. Lower back. Head hangs, and then test your balance just a little bit. Bring your weight in toward your toes. But you're not gripping the floor with your toes. It's almost just into the ball of the foot, just forward into the front. One more breath. Exhale. Strong through the spine, come all the way back up. Open heart and throat. Release the arms. Turn. Find your warrior two. Windmill down. Turn that back toe. Bend your right knee. Step forward. Okay. Step into that spot. You play with a balance, and there's balance. which is kind of why we did all of the forward fold prep to get the upper back and the hamstrings ready. Okay, so you can take crow if you want, or you can try firefly, and you're gonna watch me fall on my butt, because it's been a while since I've done this. Okay, so the trick to this one is you are getting the backs of your knees as close to your shoulders as possible. So the best analogy that I have is that you basically put your legs on like a sweater, like a cardigan, right? Yeah. So you're coming in like this, and then you walk your feet as close as they can go. And then you set your hands all the way down. And you're actually sitting onto the backs of your arms. And then you can bring your feet together and hug. And then if you have a little lift, you can straighten the legs out, and then you lift. So that's your firefly. Yeah. Yeah. And you could even, if you have space, bring your feet together and you can actually like cross your ankles and you just kind of hook the toes. Yeah. So adduction, so your inner thighs are pressing in toward your arms. Yeah, that's key. Right there. And then like in and then lift. You're building muscle memory. So the more you do it, the first time you do it, it's going to feel like the weirdest thing in the world. Yeah, but with that pose, you're so close to the ground that if you fall 6 inches onto your butt, it's all right. So if you want, that's it. One last vinyasa, if you choose, just to kind of reset all of that. And then bring your knees down to the ground. And come all the way up. Just stand on your knees. I'm just opening into a little camel pose, just to take a little back bend to complete the practice. So I like to take my fingertips toward my head and the heels of my hands to support my sacrum. And then what that does, so you can have the fingertips, facing down, but watch what happens to the shoulder when they face up. It rolls. Yeah, it rolls it back. So you've got this opening right across your collarbone. And then you engage the legs, so you squeeze your butt and press your hips forward. So there's no pressure whatsoever on your lower back. Hug your elbows in, almost like someone is guiding your elbows in toward each other. And then, like there's a string from your heart to the ceiling, let it feel lifted. And you can keep your neck in line, or your head in line with your neck, or you can let it go. And you come all the way back down. Sit on your heels, and just keep a nice straight spine, because we'll do it once more. So back bends are very progressive. So you don't want to take the counter pose until you're finished. You don't want to do the counter pose in between each one, because then it makes you start from square one every time. So as you go into the next one, you just kind of keep a neutral spine. And then your spine's like, oh, okay, we're still going that way. And then you do the counter pose at the end. So you do like 2 or 3 times, sometimes 4 or 5, whatever you want. You can do them all day. I've done that. All right, come on, all the way back up. I used to have way more time to do yoga, like all day long. Okay, engage back body, press the hips out, fingertips face the top of your head, heels of your hands anchor into your sacrum. Press the hips out. As you press the hips out, so there's a string pulling your hips forward and a string pulling your heart to the ceiling. And maybe it feels a little more comfortable now. Come all the way back down. Sink hips to heels. Take a couple breaths in your neutral spine. So you're not going immediately into your counter pose. You're giving your spine a little rest. Because back bends can be intense. Stimulates your entire nervous system. Because that's your central nervous system, right? Your whole spine, spinal cord. So you've just stimulated the whole thing. And then when you're ready, if you can, extra attention on keeping the knees together. And then that's like the ultimate counter pose, because then you're stretching the whole spine. So when you keep your knees together, you're just kind of draping your upper body. And I know that's kind of, it can be uncomfortable. Sometimes it can feel like there's not enough breath if you're not accustomed to breathing into your back body. And then when you're ready, come all the way back up. Bring your hands to the top of your mat. You're walking your knees between your hands, cross your ankles, and then you're just coming to sit. Sit tall, lift up through your chest, and just take a nice, feel-good movement. So the hands, fingertips face back. So again, that's just for the rotation in the shoulder joint. And then just windshield over the legs. See if you can keep your heart reaching forward so you're not kind of turning all the way to the side. So it's really just the lower body. So you're just releasing the legs. And then come all the way back. Sit tall, catch behind your knees, or fingertips reach out. I kind of always begin and end class the same way. So you're scooping your belly in. Here's your slow race all the way down to the bottom, all the way down to your mat. The prize is a strong core. Nice strong abs. So there's always that point right about there where you just want to flop to the ground. See if you can, one vertebra at a time. And then once you reach the earth, I think Glenn wins. Hug your knees into your chest. Nice massage for your back body. So good. So here's the point in class where you take all of the energy that you've created in your body and let it move you in any way that it needs. So stay here, or maybe take a happy baby, or maybe a bridge pose, maybe a hip opener, maybe a twist. Whatever your body is asking for. And it doesn't have to be a posture, it doesn't have to look like anything. Close your eyes and just move intuitively. Take a couple more breaths and explore. And then when you're ready, start to make your way back down onto the mat. Shavasana. So whatever that looks like for you, you can use props or not. Just connect with the earth. Connect with your back body. Use the breath to release any tensions that remain, any static, any junk. And let your breath create space. Let your breath fill that space that you've created. And that's all this practice is just creating space. Space in body, space in mind, space in spirit. Just as you are, take a deep breath in. Send it all the way down to your toes. Gather anything that remains that needs to be released and let it out. As your breath deepens, start to invite some movements into your fingers and toes, coming back into the body, into this room. And then when you're ready, you can roll to one side, whatever side you're called to today. Just curl into a little ball and let yourself re-emerge. So Shavasana is corpse pose, a little death, and this is your rebirth. Fetal position, allowing yourself to re-emerge brand new. Keeping your eyes closed, slowly press yourself back into seated, whatever that looks like for you. Bring your hands to your heart center, Anjali Mudra. Take a deep breath into your heart space. Let it out. And we'll close with the sound of Om, the deep seed sound of the universe. You can join or listen. Take another deep breath into your heart. Bow your head. Bring your thumbs to your third eye. Deep peace and gratitude out to the world, to all living creatures. Namaste. Thanks for coming. Yeah.